On Hawaii's Big Island, there was another explosion from the Kilauea volcano overnight, and fast-moving lava triggered more evacuations from the eruption zone. Mark Strassman is there.
Fiery lava continued its unrelenting march. A new fast-moving flow crossed a major roadway and rolled toward the ocean, roughly 2 miles away. 4 stranded residents had to be airlifted out by the National Guard. The same lava flow swallowed this home in minutes. Even after 2 weeks, the volcanic images continue to astonish. Officials here are pleading with folks to heed evacuation orders.
We can't force them. We can't force anybody. We're just highly recommending, for your safety and the safety of first responders, to please evacuate.
Stuck in Leilani Estates. Anybody can send help. We're on Moku Street.
This man used Instagram to call for help after his truck broke down, and toxic sulfur dioxide levels soared. He was rescued. But diehards like John Artimovich are determined to stay, to keep tabs on his property and his neighbors.
I have no fear for not getting out if something catastrophic could happen, but I don't believe anything catastrophic will happen.
Looks pretty catastrophic behind you.
Well, but I'm saying though, right now, it wouldn't blow up and cause us to be running down the road. It would be real slow. We could walk away from it like this.
But in some places, lava is moving quickly, nearly 400 yards an hour. Scott Wagers is documenting his community to help neighbors make insurance claims. 2 weeks ago, could you have imagined this?
I just got goosebumps. Never in a million years would we have thought this was going to happen. We watched Earth come out of the ground.
And reshape the landscape.
Absolutely reshape the landscape. It's a mind scratcher, it really is.
This half-mile stretch of lava that I'm standing on is by far the worst destruction on the Big Island. Done somewhere buried under all this are more than a dozen homes.
It is a torrent of molten rock devouring everything in its path. Part of the tropical paradise of Hawaii's Big Island torn open, geysers of lava and ash spewing into the air. All from Kilauea, one of 6 active volcanoes in Hawaii. In some places, lava reaching as high as 330 feet higher than the Statue of Liberty's torch. People saying the sound was akin to a jet engine's roar.
It was thunderous. I mean, it was just like...
The level of lava that is coming out of that fissure is bad. The amount of volume of lava is bad. I mean, this whole thing is a bad situation.
The lava reaching temperatures of nearly 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, so hot it can melt gold. Take a look at this time-lapse video of a Mustang bursting into flames as it's consumed. It's the lava from here. The thing going underground through here to the neighborhoods.
That's right.
That molten rock traveling underground and erupting through the earth, spewing out 20 miles away in the neighborhood of Leilani Estates. Nearly 2,000 residents of this and one other community evacuated.
I was starting to panic. Just grabbing pictures. My mom's wedding gown, just baby photos, just important things.
We met Woody Kihai Nelson at this roadblock, hoping to go back in to pick up what he left, when a friend showed him this video.
Just all the memories of being in my backyard. This is hard.
That giant wall of lava creeping through that yard, closing in on his childhood home.
Still the shock and the memories, kind of like the one that hit me hard. Seeing these photos in my head of me and my brother in my backyard, and now it's covered in 10 feet of lava.
He grew up knowing this was a possibility.
Ever since I was a child, my mom told me that we live by the volcano, so it's really close, and it really did scare me throughout my life, and it kind of kept me up some weeks knowing that the volcano's there, and this nightmare finally came true today.
Holy
This nightmare for this island began last week.
Holy Your son. Your son. Oh my God, guys.
Earthquakes rattling the Big Island, and as the first cracks in the earth opened, plumes of ash and smoke rose into the air.
It was roaring sky high. It was incredible. It was fuming, it was roaring, it was thundering, the rocks were flying out of the ground.
Those 15 open fissures exposing fiery magma overtaking neighborhood streets, causing a week of mayhem. Over the weekend, people like Chris Kleps waited for hours in their vehicles.
And you've been out here all night long?
I got out here about 3. Yeah, just sat and waited.
What are you waiting for?
See if I could get in.
Only to learn he isn't allowed back in. You said you think that your home is in danger?
I think it is. Yeah.
Why? What do you think is
Well,
happening?
this is where the new vision's opened up. It's there. I mean, it's right on the corner. I think it's heading down towards us, so we just kind of gave up hope now.
When you saw where that latest vent opened up, tell me what went through your mind.
Just wanted to cry. Just wanted to cry.
So you think when you finally do get back home, what will you find?
Ashes. It's ashes. Or if we're allowed back in, or a solid rock wall.
Today, the situation on the ground in Leilani Estates is still volatile. Authorities allowing some evacuees back in for a few hours at a time to gather their belongings.
This doesn't seem real. We walk our dogs up and down the street every day.
Raylene Laram and her son evacuated last week.
We just felt it as almost like we could feel, and we didn't think it was real at first, but it's almost like you could feel the lava flowing under you. It was like we'd sit in the living room, it's like you could just feel it just kind of... It's just the vibration. It was strange.
The fate of their home still uncertain.
Very difficult not knowing, and they didn't know. They couldn't give us addresses last night, which was frustrating.
One of authorities' concerns, the dangerously high levels of sulfur dioxide fumes in the community.
Sulfur dioxide is a natural gas that comes out of lava. At low levels, it can be just irritating to people with respiratory issues, but then at upper levels, it could be fatal.
The National Guard is monitoring the toxic fumes,
We're already well over what would be considered safe.
pleading with residents to stay away.
Like choking on rotten eggs. It's really thick. It just makes your eyes water. Your throat hurts. Everything hurts. So your lungs literally ache. So you gotta just run.
Julie Lealoha is lucky.
My house is fine, standing so far, but it's just saturated with SO2.
In all 36 structures, most of them homes, have been destroyed. More than 100 acres consumed by the lava, and no one knows when it's going to end.
Could continue to flow for several weeks, several months, several days, several years. We don't know. The worry level is high right now.
Worry, but a level of acceptance. Locals saying this land belongs to the goddess of fire and volcanoes, Pele. Some claiming to see her image in the eruptions.
Pele is described by some as mythology or folklore, but to native Hawaiians, she is much, much more than that.
She's the island body, and we know that when we feel a rumble or a shake, the volcano, we know that it breathes.
They believe Tutu, or Grandmother Pele as she's often called, lives here in Kilauea.
Wow. So just for some perspective, we are here on the edge of Kilauea Volcano.
Kilauea is one of the world's most active volcanoes, spewing lava since 1983. It's part of what drew 2 million tourists last year to Hawaii Volcanoes National Park.
What do they see normally? It really varies. For the last 10 years or so, when this started to erupt again, the lava lake would create a really magnificent glow in the evening.
That volcanic activity erupting outside of the park has been historically devastating. In 1990, the town of Kalapana left buried under 50 feet of lava. In 1960, nearly the same in the town of Kapoho. And today, an explosion as rocks in the volcano's other crater crashed into the lava lake below. We watched as it created the largest ash plume at Kilauea since 1924.
Oh my goodness, that is just remarkable.
Sending geologists scrambling.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
They say it is all connected to the ongoing volcanic eruptions that are holding this small corner of the island hostage by waves of lava. Permanent changes to the landscape and lives here as Nelson and his neighbors focus on their faith as they look forward.
Tried, but that's what it is. Pele, goddess of Pele, she owns all this land. This is all her home. So she's taking back what rightfully is hers.
For Nightline, I'm Marcy Gonzalez in Hawaii.
Hawaiian Volcano Observatory reports that fishery continues to erupt with a full channel flowing to the ocean at Kapoho. Currently, there is no immediate threat, but persons near the active flow should be prepared and heed warnings from civil defense. Due to frequent earthquake activity, residents in the volcano area are advised to monitor utility connections of gas, electricity, and water after earthquakes. Disaster assistance is available island-wide to individuals and businesses in Hawaii County that have been affected by the Kilauea eruption. The Disaster Recovery Center is open daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and is located at the Keao High School gym. Tropic Care 2018 will provide free medical, dental, and eye care today, June 25th through Thursday, June 28th, at Keao High School between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Tropic Care is open to everyone, regardless of whether or not they are affected by the disaster. We are on watch 24 hours a day for your safety. Thank you for listening. This is your Hawaii County Civil Defense.
At the summit of the volcano, the last collapse explosion event occurred at 4:12 yesterday afternoon. Right now, rates of elevated seismicity in comparison to previous events suggest that another collapse explosion may occur sometime soon. Also, a new update for today is that the Volcano Observatory notice to aircraft has been dropped from the red level to the orange level today due to the reduced ash being produced by these collapse explosion events. That's it for the geology update. I'm going to pass it back to Leslie at this time.
Thanks, Mike. Our next speaker will be Jessica Farrakhan with Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Good morning. Haven't been on the call in a while, but thank you. Today it's still status quo. We are parts of the park are open starting on Wednesday. The Kahuku unit will be open again Wednesday through Sunday. I went out there on Friday and hiked a new trail, the Paleoka-Eo Trail, which is about 2 miles, beautiful Koa Okea woodland forest, and I highly encourage everybody to take a visit to Kahuku if you're looking for a positive story about this closure and the ongoing activity. That would be great. Today's day 46 of the partial closure at the Kilauea area of the National Park. And the big news to share today is that we will be hosting, the National Park Service and USGS will be hosting a community meeting this Thursday, June 28th at the Cooper Center at 6:30 p.m. This is, we're hoping that Volcano Village residents are they are the intended audience for this meeting. And this meeting will be held to discuss the ongoing closure, what's going on in the park, and what's going on with the summit activity of Kilauea. Our next question comes from Timmy Andrews from Hawaii News Now. Your line is open.
Hi, I just wanted to ask about the Jagger Observatory and if you have any plans at this time to relocate or where you are in the process of relocating it and just any updates you have on that at this moment.
Question, you mentioned the Jagger Observatory. Do you mean the Jagger Museum or the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory?
I meant the Jagger Museum, sorry.
Jessica, do you want to address the question about the Jagger Museum? Sure. It's really too early to tell. We haven't even been able to do a professional assessment of the structure. So, yeah, too early to tell, and that's all I have about that. We don't know if we'll be going back to it. We don't know the actual condition of the building. So I hope that answers your question adequately.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey everybody, this is Mike speaking. Thanks for joining us today. The eruption on the Lower East Rift Zone continues. Analyze lava flows that travel about 14 kilometers to the ocean. I believe the highest speed that we've seen so far has been 31 kilometers per hour. I saw 25 kilometers per hour over the weekend, and Leslie saw the 35 Friday night. Along the course of those 14 kilometers, there are no significant overflows at this time threatening any nearby community. So far, all of those spillovers have moved at a slow rate because they're generally caused by small-scale failures at the top of the levees closest to the channel. In historical eruptions in the past, there have been larger failures of the channel levees observed, so we're always on the watch to make sure that those don't happen, or if they do, that we catch it and we know to inform Hawaii County Civil Defense if necessary. We're constantly visiting the north margins of the channel in the upper parts of the channel, such as in Leilani State Subdivision, as well as around the Pohoiki Road, Highway 132 intersection. That's one of our most useful spots for observing the channel levees to see if any of those overflows are happening. Also, down closer to Kapoho, we have a perched vantage point at a cinder quarry that we're using to get a view up channel, especially at night, where we can potentially see more overflows. So we even though we can't visit a lot of the channel on the ground, we can, from those vantage points, we can see quite a bit of it from a distance. And of course, we have our daily helicopter flights that also provide us an opportunity to see. At the ocean entry, the lava delta has been advancing southward at a slowing rate, which is now less than 50 meters per day. At about this time last week, it had been advancing southward at about 200 meters per day, but that rate has slowed. The closest lava is now just over 1 kilometer away from the Ahalanui Beach Park. There remains a possibility of some minor lava activity at the existing fissures northeast of fissure number 8, but we haven't been able to confirm any of this due to the gas conditions in that area. We just had our weekly status meeting, and during that weekly status meeting, it was reported that the SO2 levels had peaked last week around 25,000 tons per day coming out of the Lower East Rift Zone. As for our personal protection, we have half-face respirators that we always have around our necks when we're in the field, and they're ready to put on at any time in case the SO2 levels reach such a level that we have to use them. We also wear these gas badges that will beep, if the SO2 level sneaks up on us and we didn't realize that it was getting higher. Although usually we can smell it a little bit, and we have pretty good knowledge of when we need them. Even beforehand. And of course, if it gets so high, we'll just leave the area because the masks that we wear, while useful, it's always advisable to get out if the SO2 levels reach such a level. Yeah.